So hello, everybody. Welcome back to Todd's podcast. Appreciate you signing in and listening in today. We're glad you have subscribed and followed as you are instructed and implored to do. It's the way that we build our listenership. We have a guest today in our studio, and you will not believe who we have. I know you were probably expecting Santa. We had him last year, but he's been censored and he's been excommunicated. So we have the next best thing to Santa. We have his better half, the brains behind the man, the myth, and the legend. Santa's much, much, much better half, Mrs. Santa Claus. Welcome, Mrs. Claus.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
So what do we call you? You've always been known as Mrs. Claus. What's your first name? Let's put these rumors to rest. Gertrude, Carol, what's your real name?
Well, I've never really told anybody before. I didn't really want to disclose it today, but I will go ahead and...
We only have 80 million listeners, so
okay.
It won't get out too far. We're pushing Joe Rogan numbers.
My real name is, and you got one of these right, is Gertrude.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Where did that name come from? Is that a family name?
It's great-grandmother.
Great-grandmother? Mm-hmm. Well, she must be like 2,000 years old, because what are you, like 400 or 500 years old now?
I'm 680.
You look good for 680.
Thank you.
You look very good for
you.
680.
Mr. Claus keeps me well kept there at the North Pole.
Okay. So how did you and Mr. Claus meet? The pole mixer, North Pole, South Pole, online dating site? How did you?
No, back then we didn't have that, that many years ago. Actually, Mr. Santa Claus, Mr. Claus, we would say.
I heard he was the hef of the North Pole.
Oh, he is. He is awesome.
He's quite the player?
He is quite the player,
oh,
yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Actually, we were... I was out at dinner with friends, and we were having a toy drive, and he showed up to pick up the toys, and got a little twinkle in his eye over there looking at me up and down, and I was looking at him, and so we started talking about toys.
Well, how long have y'all been married? You're 680 years old. Did you get married as a youngster?
I was very young. I was...
like 300 would be young in Santa Claus years.
Yeah, my parents didn't want me to get married that young, but I did. I was actually 56 years old.
Did they not trust Santa, or was it just they thought you just quite hadn't matured enough at 300 yet?
I had not matured enough at 56, and so I needed to... They were pushing me out the door about that time, telling me it was time to go meet someone.
Well, it seems to have worked out pretty well for you.
It has. We've been married a long time.
What is your official role in the Santa Claus Christmas season? What do you do?
Oh, I get so excited when after Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, my role is to make sure all the elves have all the toys ready for the kiddos that's going to be heading out, Christmas Eve. My role is to make sure that the elves are fed, but most of all, that Santa is fed, because he's got a hard job ahead of him when it comes December 24th. I mean, we've got to make sure that he's got plenty of food in his belly before he starts out. Now, when he reaches every household, there will hopefully be milk and cookies and other snacks for him. But it takes a lot of energy to start at the North Pole, to go all the way around the world in 24 hours. It's a lot.
What do you do as soon as the big guy takes off for these deliveries? I mean, maybe take your shoes off and your girdle off and just kind of let it all hang out for a while. And
I do. We have a good time. Well, actually, it's just the elves and I at that time, because Santa's left with reindeers. Rudolph is taken off, and if everything goes well with them, and that's another one of my jobs I was going to tell you about, taking care of the reindeers. They depend on me to go out every day, make sure they're fed. I have the veterinarian come over, check them, make sure that, they're free of disease of any kind, so that we full of energy where they can take off and we fly throughout the night.
Who's your favorite reindeer?
Oh, of course, Rudolph.
Why? Just because he's the chosen one, or does that
nose
ever go off, or is it just
he was neglected years ago? Nobody wanted him.
Kind of
he was a misfit. Yes, he was a misfit. And so I've kind of taken him under my wing, and I make sure that he's fed before any other reindeer's fed.
So he's the favored one.
He's the favored one,
yes.
Yes.
Every parent seems to have
now,
one of those.
It is, and I would say second choice would be Dantzler.
No, that's not a real one.
Yeah, there is.
Okay. All right. Sorry you took me off. Whoever says I don't listen to these answers, you're out of place and you're wrong. So where do you live in the off season? I appreciate that.
Well, we're so used to being in the cold all the time, the snow, and so it's cold all the time in North Pole. It never gets warm, so I get Santa. If you can believe this, I will get him to fly to Alaska because it's a little bit warmer there.
Yep.
So we have a little retreat home that we go to for 6 weeks, and then we're back at it.
Back at it. You get a 6-week vacation, and then you're kind of back at it.
And he complains the whole time. He just can't stand to be away from the elves.
Is he just a workaholic, or is he just
24/7.
can't stand being around you for 6 weeks?
No, he loves me.
He does.
He loves me, yes.
But what's not to love?
But there you go.
Okay. How do you manage the stress that's around the holidays? I mean, it's got to be tough, and you take 6 weeks off, and then boom, you're starting back in the grind.
But as the North Pole, we start making toys. The elves know, January 1st.
So they don't get 6 weeks off.
No, they just get a week off between Christmas and New Year's.
I hope they're not in the
Day.
union.
Not yet.
Because they will be rising up
We're
soon.
hoping not. But no, they get that week off. And then we start hearing little whispers and what the children want for next year. The new toy lists are coming out. And so we get our team together, just like any, corporation, just like your organization here. And we talk about the latest and the greatest toys and what will have to be made for the next season.
Do you just take your ideas from other toys that are around, or do y'all have a creative group that also comes up with some, things that are proprietary just to the Santa Claus line?
Well, you can imagine we have everybody, huge stores, or manufacturers that are making these toys, and we constantly get mailers or they're trying to reach out to us. But we only take mail only. We don't have visitors come in. Only the elves and the reindeers are on our property.
Really?
So yeah. So if say Mattel wants to meet with us, we will go meet with them off campus somewhere because
Proprietary secrets, you don't want them knowing how
exactly.
you do it?
No, they can't.
How do you manage stress?
Well, the stress is
A lot of drinking, a lot of yoga. What do you do? Because you only have 6 weeks off.
Well, the doctors told me no more snow skiing. I mean, because imagine all the snow around, and that's probably the funnest thing. But
have your knees finally given out?
It's about there.
It's about there.
So I can't snow ski anymore. So I go out. I go off campus. Sometimes we have a spa that I'm allowed to go to. Every now and then, if I'm spotted in town, everybody wants to take pictures with me and wants to know, what the secrets are. How does, the reindeers get their energy to fly all night?
It's kind of like our sheriff.
Yes.
Everyone wants to come up, talk to him,
photos,
and speak
yes.
to him, and photos, and find out how he does his job.
And every so often, Mr. Claus will go with me, and it's disastrous. I mean,
just twice as bad.
Oh, it's horrible.
You're enough of a rock star. You don't need that guy dragging you down.
Dragging us down, and then if it's March and we're say at the supermarket, buying a few things, we have little kids that's constantly wanting to sit on his lap. Yeah.
What's the biggest misconception about living with Santa?
It's a good question. I think that they think Santa's just ho 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 all the time, but he has a lot of stress. I mean, it's he knows that the world is depending on him, and there's a lot of stress on him. So him and I, through the years, 300 years, we know each other's, happy places and sad places, and stay away from each other when it becomes stressful.
So you know how to read each other's body language, you know how to read each other's tone and their voice, and when Mrs. Claus ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
Ain't nobody happy. That's right.
Do you have mistletoe hanging up around your house year round?
Oh, we do. Yes. Well, it's North Pole, of course.
Does it grow wild up there, or do you have to bring it in from somewhere in the southern states?
Wild. It grows wild.
Does grow wild? The northern strand of it?
And you have to think, every day is Christmas to us because we're planning.
Right.
We never get out of the Christmas spirit.
What's the best present Santa Claus has ever given you?
Oh, diamonds.
Diamonds?
Yes. Yeah. He went uptown one day and bought them. Out of my surprise, I didn't know it was going to happen, and he come home and a diamond necklace. It was so beautiful, and I think that he had some help there at the jewelry store.
You think so? Mm-hmm. Just a necklace, or do you get you a bracelet and earrings?
Just a necklace.
Just a necklace.
Just a
Maybe
necklace,
the
yeah.
earrings or bracelet or whatever. If you play your cards right, and if you're nice, you might get the rest of the set or something.
Yeah. I mean, he does keep that list, and I'm glad you touched on that.
Yep. What's it like? You mentioned the reindeer earlier. What's it like hanging around with all those reindeer? You said you only have reindeer and elves and you and Santa. I mean, it's got to get a bit pungent and fragrant around there with the reindeer. If the wind's blowing the wrong way, it could be like this. There's a place down here called BS Ranch. It could be a lot like that. So
our place we're on a lot of acreage, so the reindeer can roam as they would like, but they do come in at night. They come in the morning time when they get fed and all. But no, it's just a very beautiful sceneresque place.
When your reindeer get older and they can't perform anymore, what do you do with them? Do you put them out to pasture? Do you make a stew out of them?
No, we have the same reindeers we've had all these years. Yes. Yeah, they're magical.
That is amazing. So for Santa, you had mentioned you feed him lots of food before he goes out. What's like a typical pregame meal for him to fill up that tool shed of his? Is he carbo load so he's got lots of energy? Is it a high protein diet? What is it? Are you watching his health? You must be if you've been together 300
we're
years.
watching his health. High protein diet. Actually, they get IVs fluid before they leave to make sure that they have enough in their system. So, and they know it's coming. We'll do it like once a month just to make sure that they have plenty of fluids and all
get
in
their
the
body accumulated and accustomed to it. So how do you keep yourself in shape? You look good for 680.
Yeah.
You're around sweets, you're around sugar. Because all the drawings I've ever seen, this is the first time I met you in person, so it's an honor to meet you, Gertrude, if I may call you that.
Yes.
But, all the drawings and sketches and cartoons we see of Mrs. Claus is a little bit portly, white hair. You don't look like that stereotype at all. Do you have a beauty regimen that you'd like to share, or how do you keep yourself looking so
Well,
young?
I love to play. There's a new game out there called pickleball.
Never heard of it.
I love it. It is awesome. And actually, we've built a pickleball court at the North Pole. And so, actually, Mr. Claus loves to play too.
Good.
His knees are bad, long like mine.
Weight.
But the elves, they've made their own little paddles now.
Really?
And so we have a little pickleball court, and so we all get out there and play for entertainment.
Is it you and Mr. Claus against about 20 little elves because they're so small they can't get around that fast?
Actually, we have 155 elves now.
Wow.
Yeah, they've had children. and
like rabbits.
Yeah, they do.
Todd's podcast is sponsored in part by SVN Saunders Ralston Dantzler Real Estate. Since 1996, the firm has offered unrivaled brokerage services throughout Florida, Georgia, and Alabama. With over 90 expert advisors throughout the region, our team has the knowledge and resources to help clients realize their most ambitious real estate investment goals. When you choose SVN Saunders Ralston Dantzler Real Estate, you have access to a diverse suite of commercial and land services, including forestry consulting, land management, auctions, property management, commercial leasing, and negotiating conservation easements. If you're seeking to invest in land or explore commercial real estate opportunities in the Southeast, contact us today at svnsaunders.com or call 877-518-5263 to connect with an advisor today.
Have you ever stowed away on Santa's sleigh and just in the middle of the flight you jump out and yell, surprise, and scare the mess out of him? Or is it like, hey, once he takes off, it's all business. You don't mess with Santa while he's working.
It's all business. And what's the great thing now, though, is I'm able to track him. Years ago, we weren't able to track. So I'm able to turn on my TV and watch where he's going from state to state, city to city. So I'm able to
country to country,
country to country. And then I'm looking, and I've also have my list in front of me, making sure that he's not skipping any households and leaving any children out. And so if I see that he may be on the map, we have cell phones now, so I'm able to call him to remind him to go to little Susie's house and give her that baby doll that she's been wanting.
Maybe put a little Apple iPod, a little pod in his.
I do. We track him.
Is that what they're called, pods?
Yeah.
You put it in his knapsack, and you know where he is at all times.
All times, but I do that all year round.
Okay. When he takes off, does he go east to west or west to east?
He goes east to west.
East to west.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now I have to back up on that. A couple of years we had to change it because of the weather. I mean, we had a winter storm come in, and we did not think he was going to get out that night. So we consulted. We also consult with some weather people up there in the North Pole, and so they gave us some new directions.
We've had some incredible weather here in Florida this past few months with the hurricanes that have come through.
Yes.
And you don't wish it on anyone, so I'm glad that y'all are not susceptible to the hurricanes. But I'm sure you've got your northern winds and you've got your
and on the list this year for these kids, you would be amazed of things that they're asking for the they're not asking for just toys or the household goods and things like that. Even the parents have sent us letters needing things out of Florida.
That's amazing. What's the first the first vehicle is the sleigh that you and Santa have. What's your second family vehicle? What do you tool around with when you're trying to style a little bit and just kind of show off your tennis bracelet necklace or whatever? Santa's out, you're out cruising around. What do you like?
Well, I drive a Ford vehicle.
What kind? A pickup truck, or you have?
No, it's SUV.
SUV.
Mm-hmm. I drive that.
Is it a hybrid or?
Oh no.
You just gas guzzle.
Gas.
You're
yeah.
just sucking the gas down. Like
we're old school. We're old school. But Santa.
You haven't gone green yet.
No, I will not go green, and Santa won't either.
He's probably reducing his carbon footprint by using the reindeer.
He is, except the gas. The reindeer gas.
The emissions. Yeah. Are there any young Clauses running around that we don't know about? You said none for you, but Santa, he was 300 something before he met you. Did he have any before y'all got married?
Not that I know of. They've not come to fruition. Actually, we just have. I don't know if you've heard of this test. Those 23andMe. We did that just to see if we had any relatives out there, and nobody. We are single. I mean.
You weren't brother and sister.
We were brother and sister. We don't know where we came from.
But you were not brother and sister when you got married.
We are not brother and sister, and we're not brother and sister now. We're not.
That's comforting.
Yeah. My mom and dad's passed on, and there's nobody around.
Yeah. So, I'm not sure how long you and Santa typically live. You're centuries old. Who's in the slot to take Santa's place? Are y'all kind of grooming someone, or does Santa typically have another 300 or 400 years before you have to start looking for his replacement?
He has at least 300 more years, I would say.
How long does it take to train someone to the routes that he goes, or do you just kind of rely on the reindeer and he says, "Hey, head east or head west"? And
the reindeers know, but he also has the tracking. But yeah, we haven't. Santa Claus lives forever. As long as you believe, he will always come.
Because the last time I saw him, which is about this time last year, he looked like a broken down old cowboy that you would see on the Yellowstone.
Oh, my man's not looking like that.
He was looking pretty rough.
I don't think so. He might have been, because we do have now at these little stations.
It was his back and his knees, not the rest of him.
He might not have been the real Santa. We have so many fake Santas that's trying to be Mr. Santa Claus that is so wrong. So we're that's the only thing if I could talk to my legislators, I would have that changed.
Have you ever thought about running for political office?
Thought about it, but I just don't have time.
Just not electable, you don't think? Or you think you could win?
Oh, I could win.
You could win?
I mean, yeah.
Well,
just
you
by
have that personality.
By Gertrude Claus, Mrs. Claus.
That's the name recognition.
Yeah.
You don't have to spend the money on signs or anything.
There you go. That's right.
Everyone knows who.
And everybody gets gifts.
Yeah.
Everybody loves us.
I'm not sure I would push the Gertrude part because people don't know you, but if you say, "Hey, I'm Mrs. Santa Claus" or "I'm Mrs. Claus,"
Mrs. Claus, yeah,
that's probably the best way.
Mm-hmm. Now we're introduced as Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus, but I'm Gertrude with my friends.
So you had mentioned lists before, and there's rumors going around that there's a naughty list that Santa keeps for kids that may not be all that pleasant. Mm-hmm. Is there a naughty list for adults?
Oh, there certainly is. And I'll tell you, that's something that got invented.
Is Eli on the naughty list?
Who?
Eli. He is the most eligible bachelor in all of Polk County. I don't know if you knew that. Yes.
I know that. Okay.
Yes.
Officially from Todd.
Officially.
From Todd.
Yes. He's single and ready to mingle.
All right. How old are you?
22.
Stop
he's a
hitting on him.
baby.
Yes, he is, compared to someone who's 680 years old.
Yeah, you're a baby. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Elf on the Shelf, but it was invented 15 years ago. It kind of came out of our North Pole, but these parents obtained the Elf on the Shelf somehow, and they show up the day after Thanksgiving. And
The elf does.
the elf does, and he changes his location in their house every night. So our elves that are out there are watching these kids. So you always hear your mom or dad has eyes in the back of their heads. Well, we certainly have eyes in the back of our head, but these elves
We have elves on the shelves.
elves on the shelves. And so it's been so helpful for us to have these elves because they report back to us. So yes, we do have a naughty list.
And do you purge that list every year and everyone gets a clean start on
Absolutely.
December 26th? Or is it,
Yeah.
hey, once Eli's on it, he's got to do a body of good
No.
work
We
before he
purge
gets
the
off?
list. Yeah.
Well, that's
we do
nice.
second chances.
Third and fourth, or
Third
second?
sometimes.
Third
Third,
sometimes,
yeah,
but not
sometimes.
fourth?
Sometimes, yeah.
All right. Well, so the naughty list, do they get any presents at all, or do they just not get?
Oh no, they'll get rocks, coal,
Ooh.
things like that. Yeah,
tough.
but we do. I mean, we have a big heart.
You got to have some
You know,
compassion.
We have
And
some
they're kids.
passion, and so we will deliver it with
Yep.
a little note and ask the parents to hide the gifts in the closet, and just give them the coal and the rocks and maybe an orange. Yeah, that's what my mother used to get in her. She used to get an orange in her stocking. But then we ask them, let them see the bad side, the negative side of being so bad for the year, and let them think about it for a couple of hours and then bring out the gift.
Or at least the orange.
Yes.
At least the orange.
The orange, yes.
We've been here for 20, 25 minutes, and we've gone really fast, which I appreciate.
Oh,
You've answered a lot of questions, but we have this portion of the interview of the podcast called a lightning round. So just kind of ask you a bunch of quick questions, and you can give a one-word answer, or you can say, I don't want to answer that.
Okay.
It makes for a very boring podcast if you don't answer. So just kind of tell us what comes to mind, first of all. What's your favorite Christmas song?
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Is it?
Yes.
So are you offended by the song Santa Got Run Over by a Reindeer?
Very offended.
Or is it grandma got run
Grandma
over?
got run over. Yes. That just puts a negative thought in
It does.
children's minds. Yeah, I don't like
So yours is Rudolph the Red-Nosed
Rudolph the
Reindeer.
Red-Nosed Reindeer. And we play it all year long.
But you're not going to sing it now, are you?
No, but we
Okay.
play other Christmas songs, but that's probably my favorite.
What's your favorite Christmas movie?
Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase.
Do you like that one?
I love it.
I have been watching Elf lately. It seems like it was on a loop on WTBS over the weekend. And every time it would be over, it would start right back again. It was almost like Groundhog Day with Elf. So.
Well, last night, Mr. Claus and I ventured out and went to see the movie
Which one?
Christmas Vacation with Chevy
Okay.
Chase, and he was there.
Chevy was.
He was, and he talked about the movie after
still
we
alive?
watched it. He's still alive,
He's still
81
alive.
years old.
Oh, my goodness.
And after we watched the movie, he came out on stage, him and his wife, and answered
His real
questions.
wife or the wife from the
Third
movie?
wife. His third wife. Yeah, real wife.
The real wife.
third wife, yes.
Okay.
And talked about the movie, and then they, I don't know if you remember the movie, but his boss was supposed to give him the bonus, and he was going to build the swimming pool. And so that's my favorite movie because it talks about how you should be real with your employees, that they had been receiving this bonus for the last 10 years. He was depending on this bonus. He had written a check before he got the bonus on his swimming pool, and he received the Jelly of the Month. And so,
It's an idea for us
So-
for this year. Jelly of the Month
Jelly
Club.
of the Month Club.
I don't like it.
And maybe a fruit of the month. And I like that. We
so-
might come out way ahead.
And his
That's
cousin Eddie, he showed up.
like
on the
Cousin
scene
Eli.
in his RV.
Yes.
And so Eddie went.
I
and
bet you have a cousin Eddie, don't you?
Eddie went and kidnapped. Yeah, Eddie went and kidnapped the boss and brought him to the house, and just it's just a real down to earth show, family show.
Now, is that the one where he just tries to outdo everybody with the Christmas
Oh,
lights
Christmas
too?
lights! He's out there for days putting Christmas lights up, and he talks about because he'll slide off the house,
The roof?
and the roof. And I'm trying to think of what was the movie. They filmed that in Colorado, And they filmed it right after there was another movie that was filmed there. I cannot think of the name of it. And there was a toilet sitting there. He was talking about toilet that they used in that other movie. And he said when he slid off the roof, he fell right on that toilet and was sitting straight up on the toilet. So they had to take that scene out.
That's pretty good.
But yeah, he was funny, really funny.
Hey, listeners.
Hey, everyone.
Hola.
Hi, all.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, this is Rob Palumbo. This is Fred Hyde.
This is Juliet Ashley Vide.
Dr. Angela Garcia Falconetti.
This is Congressman Scott Franklin.
This is Margie Grant.
This is Jake Palumbo.
And I want to thank you for listening to Todd's podcast.
Thank you for listening to Todd's podcast.
Thank you for listening to Todd's podcast.
Please make sure that you like and or subscribe.
Don't forget.
Don't forget.
Don't forget to subscribe to Todd's podcast on your favorite podcast app. Tune in and listen.
Join in and listen to us.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I can't remember which pole you said you were from, north or south. Because you
North.
have a little, because you have a little southern accent.
Really?
I'm trying to figure out where it may be, but you have a little southern accent to you. So
Well,
you've moved past the northern accent. Now you kind of moved down to our area of the world.
well, I've been down visiting.
Okay. You know, my mom, when we would go to Georgia, she's from Georgia, and we would go up there for a long weekend, and it would take us 2 or 3 weeks to kind of get that Georgia accent out of her vernacular and how she was talking. So
Oh, when I go back to the North Pole after leaving Florida, they will say, "Where are you from? Why are you talking like that?"
they have to get out the Southern Dictionary just to figure out what words you're talking about. You like music.
I do love music.
What kind of music do you like listening to?
I love rock and roll and I love country.
Do you really? Who's your favorite rock and roll band?
Styx.
Really?
Yes.
I never really would have pictured that from you.
Well, actually, after Mr. Claus and I met, I mean, this was many years after we got married. That was our first concert we went
Really? What's your favorite Styx song?
to. Fly Away.
Fly Away. How perfectly appropriate
Yes.
for Santa to be flying away.
Absolutely.
You know, at your age, I figured when you first started liking music, you might have been listening to a bunch of old men grunting and beating sticks on rocks.
Bluegrass.
Well, not really bluegrass, but just starting to communicate with each other. Have you ever been like accused of being a groupie? I mean, did you ever like going backstage of the Styx concert? Because I hear you could probably write a whole naughty list just from what goes on backstage of these
The
concerts.
only time, well, I've been backstage with 2 artists. One was a country artist, and then the other one was with George Strait.
George Strait.
Yes, I love George Strait.
I heard that about you. I could not tell you one George Strait song.
Really?
Nope.
The Chair.
Was there any other country guys or gals that you're a big fan of?
Well, I'm trying to think. I like it all. I really
Elton John.
do.
You,
I love Elton John.
Do you like music?
Love
you
Elton
can
John. I
sing
love
along?
Rod Stewart.
think
Casey
Rod
Musgrave
Stewart-
was in town.
Who?
Casey Musgrave,
I
and
know
she
Casey
was.
and the Sunshine Band. Is that
Oh,
the same
I love
person?
Casey and the Sunshine
Yes,
Band.
they played at my cotillion in senior year.
When I went to grad night.
Yeah, but
They
you
played
remember
there.
you're 460 years old, so grad night might not have been around by then. But yeah, I think it was grad night that they played.
Yeah, I think grad night.
Yeah.
Class of 77. They were there because I was there too.
Really?
Yes.
Were you
And
chaperoning, or were
actually-
you?
We love Disney World.
Okay.
And so we just thought we would.
So you
check
crashed
everything
my
out.
grad night.
I did, yes. And then not too long ago, I saw Casey.
Chunky old white-haired people were. It was you and
I saw
Santa.
Casey last year. He was at a conference, a toy conference, and so we thought we'd just pop in there, and he was playing for this toy conference.
Same songs, do a little dance, get down tonight.
And get down tonight.
He's got to be getting a little long in the tooth by now.
He's up there.
But he can still
But
move
he's just a youngster to me.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Noah's a youngster to you. Mm-hmm. So, so what's your favorite store?
My favorite store. Oh, we don't have many stores in the North Pole.
Well, you make everything, but you got to go get food somewhere.
I do Publix. If I'm down here in Florida, I love your Publix stores. They are so nice.
When are you getting a Publix at the North Pole? It's a
Well,
bit of a stretch for them.
It's better. Yes, it is. But they're moving that away.
Are they?
So hopefully one day. Mr. Claus loves Publix too.
Yep, good.
We love to shop there.
Do you play any sports?
Pickleball is the only thing.
That's it.
Well, I used to play tennis,
Yep.
but pickleball is my sport now.
probably was a lot easier on your shoulder. Tennis probably worked on your
Yes,
shoulder pretty hard. And, you know, at
My
your
knees,
age,
yeah, my
probably
age,
having
yeah,
everything
it is,
operated
but
on.
yeah.
Are you kind of like the bionic woman now? You've been,
Well,
everything's a replacement part just about?
Well, I do tables Pilates also.
Never heard of that.
That's a lot of fun, a lot of upper body strength workout. So that's good for me. That's what the doctor ordered.
So I did yoga a few years ago.
Sort of like
when I was
yoga.
Yep. And actually, I might start back tonight. I don't know. If you're not doing anything, you're welcome to join me.
Okay.
It's in Winter Haven. Carrie Wilson, a friend of mine, told me about this class. It's just started back. What kind of hobbies do you have? I mean, pickleball is a sport, but I wouldn't call pickleball your hobby. Do you?
Yeah. Well, you asked me early, would I ever run for public office? I would not run, but I do like to follow.
You've got to see that democracy kind of works, and some of these dictatorships, really, the people really kind of suffer, and I'm sure you bring a lot of joy to the children. Do you have any trouble getting visas, or does Santa have any trouble getting visas to go into some of these countries? Or is it like, hey, he's kind of got that express card that he gets into every country? Just
He has the express card for every country. But when we do go into like some of these Cambodia, some of those countries, you know, just one doll for them, they are happy, happy, happy. So they're not as needy as these Americans. Americans are very needy.
I heard they had like bottles of tequila or some type of grain alcohol with scorpions in it or little cobras.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, they do have that. Yeah. Do you have any?
I got one, but I drank it, and it sent me into a place that I don't ever want to go again.
Did it have a scorpion or did it have a snake?
I think it was a snake.
Yeah.
I think that the snake ate the scorpion, and so it was a double secret whammy. It was quite
So
interesting.
you did drink it?
I did, every bit of it.
Oh, wow.
It was a gift. I didn't want, you know, a friend of mine got it for me when they were over there, and I didn't want people thinking I wasn't appreciative of, you know, the effort that my friend made.
But we are very concerned when we go into Russia or Latvia,
Yep.
very concerned about those countries. But the most thing that concerns us coming into America is your hunters. I mean, they just like shooting deer.
Especially when they're flying.
Absolutely.
That's different
yeah.
than running around on the ground.
So now we've gotten some type of a metal detector type thing that, you know, under the sleigh so that nobody can take Santa out.
Kind of like a Kevlar vest protecting
Yes.
everyone, like an undercarriage.
In fact, we'll be meeting with your sheriff about that later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Over 460 some odd years, you had to have developed some bad habits. What are your bad habits? I mean, you seem to be pretty healthy.
Well, I'd say the bad habits is eating. And, you know, when we're stuck in the North Pole and it's snowy and it's cold and you can't get out to play pickleball.
And you're sick and tired of Santa.
Yes, but, you know, I like to cook. That's
Okay.
another one of my hobbies is I cook, and you can see it on Santa.
What's your specialty? What do you like to cook? What's your favorite thing to cook?
I love to do desserts, cakes. I love to bake, but I also like to just like country cooking. I've got this. You asked about the South. I got this Southern cookbook. Paula Dean is
Heard
her
of her.
name.
Yep.
Yeah, and she sent me this cookbook, and it's just fabulous of all the recipes in there. So I try out.
Every recipe requires a pound of butter.
Absolutely. So that could be a bad habit.
If not Santa, who is your celebrity crush on? I mean, you've got access to everyone in the world. Who you think, hey, man, I think I'd like to hang out with that guy or that gal because they're really interesting, or...
Well, George Strait, like I told you, but earlier on in
Is that the same guy that was a singer that you pulled
George
the shirt
Strait,
off
yeah,
of?
Yeah.
We found
Donnie
a common
Ott-
thread here,
Yeah.
Eli. George Strait.
George Strait's right. In my earlier days, after Mr. Claus and I had been married for a while, but I ran into Donny Osmond
Okay.
and just fell in love with him. I really had a girl crush on him.
He's got to be about 100 years old now, isn't he?
Probably.
Probably. Is Maria's twin sister or younger sister?
Younger sister.
Younger sister. There was a whole bunch of those people.
A lot of
A
them,
bunch of
yeah.
those Osmonds running around
were.
singing and very entertaining and very talented family.
Yep.
What's your favorite place to vacation? You say you take those 6 weeks off after Christmas.
Yeah.
Where do you like to go? You got to go. I mean, I know you say you go to Alaska to warm up a little bit, but there's got to be somewhere you got to go just to get a little sweat on your body.
Well, if we can, and we hardly ever do this. Gosh, it's probably been 50 years since we've been to Hawaii, but we love Hawaii.
That's quite a haul.
It is.
Do you take the elves with you? Is this just you and Santa getting away from everyone?
Just Santa and I getting away.
Well, then who was in charge of those 150-something elves while the two
Alfred.
adults are...
Alfred is the oldest. And so
Alfred the elf.
So he oversees all of them.
What ability does he have to control those other 150 little...
It's a hard job.
monkeys
It
running
really
around?
is. It's hard, but he is a little bit taller. So
Okay.
and he's a misfit also, like
Okay.
Rudolph. He's probably 3'8", I would say. So
Wow, he's a giant.
He's
down
a
there.
giant
He's
compared to
He's a
them.
big one.
So he's in charge, and actually, we sent him off to Santa College for a while.
What is Santa College?
Santa College, we teach them at the North Pole. They get their high school diploma. But there was this philanthropist that wanted to open a little Santa Claus college at the North Pole. And so we were allowed to choose one, and so we sent him to college, and he has a business degree.
So what kind of curriculum do you learn at Santa College? Is it like how to make wine? Is it how to be a beekeeper? Is
No.
it how to sell real estate? Is it how to,
No, it's how to
Produce
manage
the pot.
how to manage a company, because we're constantly having to order wood in or metal or other things, machinery, and so he's over that. He helps me do all the list, for the year of what we need.
So he's kind of a jack of all trades. He's got
Yes.
to have IT background. He's got to have logistics, and he's got to have manufacturing. Plus, he's got to have organizational skills.
Very smart.
And the patience of Job to put up with you when you're not exactly the
Oh, he
most
loves
pleasant
me. I'm
person.
like I'm his mama.
Are you? Mm-hmm. Well,
He loves me.
what's the hardest part about being Mrs. Claus? You had mentioned earlier about when you and Santa go out for dinner and everyone comes
Yeah,
over to
because
say
we
hello.
are celebrities, and we may not be your celebrity that you think of like out on the street, but
Who doesn't think Santa and Mrs. Claus are celebrities?
but
I mean, you're no Kardashians or anything.
that's
but
true. That's true. But yeah, I think that's been, and then being locked up all the time in the North Pole. I mean, we have a job to do. It's a big job. We know. I mean, what is this? December 2nd? So
Yep.
we have
You're in overdrive right
23
now.
more days, or actually 22 more days, and Santa will be hitting the road.
How long does it take to pack that sleigh up? I mean, at
we're
some
packing
point
now.
you've got to stop.
Oh no, we've already started packing. We started packing the day after Thanksgiving. The sleigh has been packed.
And so you've already got your transportation route set up and
Absolutely.
know how we've got to pack it. So boom, boom, boom. You're just pulling out the last package
Yeah.
and giving them to the next house.
Yeah, it's 2024. I mean, and we already know our weather pattern.
Okay.
I mean, we can look, and we have these specialists that call in all the time and let us know what the weather will be.
Hey everybody, this is your host Todd Dantzler, and I hope you're enjoying this episode. I would like to take a moment to do a shameless plug for my real estate business. As most of you know, I'm a partner with SVN Saunders Ralston Dantzler Real Estate, but I am also a working broker who is very active in listing and selling real estate. I've been in this business for over 41 years. I know, you're thinking he can't be, he's so young looking, but no, it's true. I've been actively listing and selling commercial real estate my entire working career on properties ranging from ag land to multifamily projects to office and commercial and industrial properties. I have held the distinguished CCIM designation since 1991. This is the highest designation you can achieve in the commercial real estate field. I believe that a big part of my success in the real estate business is because of the relationships that I have fostered throughout the state of Florida and also right here in Polk County. So if you have any real estate needs in buying or selling, please give me a call to see if I can help out. My direct line to my desk is 863-877-2846. Again, that's 863-877-2846. Has Santa ever fallen off of a roof trying to squeeze his body down that chimney?
He has. He has. We have a chiropractor that comes out periodically that helps them.
chiropractor.
That helps them stretch and you mentioned yoga.
Yeah.
He does yoga. He loves to do yoga. I mean, it's just a stress releaser for him.
It's got to be good for him, and
Very
just
good.
stretches his body out and kind of gives his body.
And we
muscle.
do a little bit of ice fishing. We love doing that.
What does Santa do to relax other than yoga?
Yoga, ice fishing. He loves to watch sports on TV. So we do have a TV there now, and so we watch the sports, and so that's all. I mean, he's old and cranky sometimes, and I just let him do his own thing.
I know a commissioner like that.
Do you?
Yes, he's a pilot, and he's still down there.
Cranky?
A little cranky,
Oh.
a little bit of a problem, but he's still, still a friend. We still get along.
Yeah, I we have Facebook now at the
Never
North
heard of
Pole.
Do we do Facebook, Eli?
We do Facebook.
We do. Eli does Facebook for the,
I'll
for
do.
the podcast.
Well, you'll have to friend Mrs. Claus.
Yeah.
Yeah, friend me. And I see your commissioner on Facebook sometimes.
Do ya?
After 9 o'clock, it's not good to watch it on Facebook.
So when Santa comes home after a long 24 hours, is he looking forward to seeing the mistletoe hanging over the front door? Is he's like, I just want to sleep for a couple of days and we're going on vacation?
He's exhausted,
Is he?
but we have to, when he comes through the door, we celebrate our Christmas.
Oh,
Yeah, because he's gone. And sometimes along the way, he'll pick up something for me every now and then. You know,
what's the neatest?
something.
I mean, he's gotten you the necklace.
The necklace is
What's
probably
what's the most fun gift he's ever given you?
Oh, the most fun. I would say that car.
The car?
The Ford car, yes. That was best. He surprised me.
All right.
I'd never driven before.
I've heard you're not a real good driver.
Really?
Yeah, I've heard you drive very distracted a lot. I've driven with people
Well,
like you that have just about killed me before. And I'm not going to tell you who was driving. Very close friend of mine.
Really? Well, I hope my friends and family, or not how much family, but I hope the elves aren't telling on me. Because I do take the elves
came
to
to me
town.
first person.
Oh, I take the elves to town every so often. And you think that's a trip.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I could probably pack 22 of them in the car.
Those little elves.
They're little elves.
small little boogers. And I
They
guess
are.
if the tallest one's, what, 3'8",
are.
3'6", 3'8"?
I take them for ice cream if they're good.
You'd think they'd want something hot.
No, they want ice cream.
They're
Because
like-
it's always stuff,
it's
at
always
the
stuff.
house, yeah.
So we talked about a wide range of things. Is there anything that I haven't asked you that you wanted to talk about? Do you have a cause that you're trying to promote? Is there a message you want to send out to the boys and girls and the moms and dads who are listening right now? Or maybe help Eli with his search for Mrs. Wright or Miss Wright? Because he is the most eligible bachelor in all of Polk County.
Oh, is he? Okay. Well, he needs to come to the North Pole because we have plenty of eligible bachelorettes.
Yeah, but
there.
aren't they all elves? Aren't they all elf girls?
No, not in town.
The townies.
Yeah, the townies. We don't have many guys. We just have girls there.
I am a world traveler now.
He is. He just got back from Japan a couple
Oh,
of weeks
wow,
ago.
you are. What part of Japan?
We went to Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, a bunch of different places.
How'd you like it?
I loved it.
Did you?
Yeah, awesome.
He was sick for a week.
Oh,
So his 2-week vacation turned into 3. That's why he's getting fruit.
okay.
That's why he's getting fruit for a Christmas, or jelly as a Christmas bonus.
Jelly of
this
the
year.
Month Club. Yeah.
Jelly of the Month Club.
I was able, Mr. Claus and I went to Japan, and because we do periodically have to go check out the country that we're going to make sure that our relations are good with them. And we were not impressed with Tokyo. It was like New York City to us, but just a little bit expensive.
Yeah, I like the outer cities better.
Yeah. Do you? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did too.
Has Santa ever felt unsafe? I know he's got this, American Express black card where he can get in anywhere or whatever, platinum, whatever
like
it
I
is.
said, these foreign countries, he does feel unsafe, but we're doing such good deeds.
And he's coming in the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night.
He's kind of sneak in and sneak out.
Sneak out. Yep, he's in and out. Yeah.
So coming up in the episode after yours is going to be Miss Florida, Cassana Fink. She'll be coming up. Beautiful, lovely young lady, lots of talent. She's going off to the Miss America pageant a couple weeks after that. Have you ever been in a beauty pageant?
I have not.
You haven't?
Never been asked to.
Well, you've kind of aged out of the Miss Florida.
I take that back. I was asked many years ago to be on the Mrs. Beauty pageant, but I declined. Yeah, Mr. Claus wouldn't have liked that. Me prancing around in a bathing suit. Well, I didn't really have a swimsuit, but...
Well, they've gotten rid of the swimsuit competition now, so it's
For
evening
Mrs.?
gown. I'm assuming so. I haven't seen that.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's evening gown and sportswear, athletic wear, and a lot of some of the questions, the interview and
Talents.
talent. What would your talent be? And pickleball's not really a talent.
Yeah, Well, I can sing, so if you wanted me to sing, we talked about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Can we turn the music up to drown her out, Eli, if she's going to start singing?
I'll see what I can do.
Are you going to sing George Strait songs? Are you going to sing Elton John songs? Or?
I would probably sing a George Strait song.
Well, then I would have never heard it, so I can't know whether to judge it again.
But I don't know. I could twirl a baton if I need to do a baton twirling. I could do that. I did that in high school.
Did you really? Mm-hmm. So did you like march in the halftime band?
I was in the band. I did the
Did you play an instrument
majorette.
or just the twirling?
Just the twirling.
Can you play an instrument?
No.
No.
Cannot. Mm-mm.
I can't either.
I wish.
Well, sounds like if you know George Strait, that's all you got to worry about.
I got the shirt off his back.
For enough money, you can take his shirt off. Is there a message that you'd like to leave for all the girls and boys who are listening out there in podcast lane, and not just the girls and boys, the moms and dads who are trying to make sure their kids are good? And is there a message you want to leave for them?
Well, we see the good in everyone. I want everybody to know, as
And
Mr. and
that's why
Miss
people
Claus.
like you and
That's why they
Santa.
like us.
Y'all are good people.
And of course, some people pay, give us donations, which helps out. We know that everybody can't pay. We understand that. Just make sure that, if you can't pay, let us know, and we'll make sure that their children have toys under the tree, because we don't want any child that wakes up on Christmas morning to be toyless.
So this is breaking news. You mean people are supposed to be paying for the toys that you get?
They do.
What kind of racket are you running?
Well, it's a charity.
Oh, the charity.
It's
okay.
nonprofit
So
that we have for
it
the
helps
children.
defray some of the costs. Those elves don't feed themselves, nor do the reindeer. Vet bills, pediatric bills,
Yeah.
orthopedic bills for you and Mr. Claus as your knees
There's
and back
the
and
cost of
shoulders
living
go out.
has gone up. It's crazy. The feed bill for the reindeers, they're eating more. Mr. Claus is eating more. They say as you get older, you don't eat as much. That's not true.
Well, maybe those people driving around the big Ford gas guzzlers that are causing the fuel prices to go up, if they were just delivering packages reindeer powered, maybe it wouldn't be so bad.
But I would just like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. It's a good day. It's a good day for family and friends to come together and celebrate the real reason of why we're celebrating Jesus. And, it's not all about the toys.
Yep. Eli, you got anything you want to ask Mrs. Claus or Gertrude? And you said I could call you Gertrude.
You can call me Gertrude.
How about Gertie? Or is that a little too personal? No.
Too personal.
Okay.
Only
Santa.
Mr. Claus can do that.
Okay. What's your pet name for Mr. Claus?
Santy.
Santy?
Come on, Santy.
Okay, that'll work. Eli, you got any questions for Gertie or Gertrude?
Looks like I got to figure out how to get up there now.
I'm thinking you're going to be
I want you to come visit.
You're going to be the president of the parade when you go up.
Oh,
and,
you will be. Those girls are going to like you.
As tall as you are, the little facial hair you got going on, little mullet in the background.
Those girls.
You won't come back single, let's put it that way.
They probably haven't seen anything like you in a while. So
That's how it was when I was in Japan.
Really?
Oh, they liked you. I would say just
Look
be
at
very,
that big guy over there.
just be very cautious.
That's right.
Well, Mrs. Claus, you've been a wonderful guest. You've been very gracious with your time. I know you've got to get back to the North Pole. And if you'd tell Santa hello for us, we do appreciate all you do in keeping Santa on time. We appreciate all you do keeping the elves working and keeping them healthy and being kind of their mom figure, and keeping the reindeer healthy, because none of this would happen if it wasn't for you. You don't get nearly enough credit, in my opinion. The big old fat guy gets, 99% of the credit, and Rudolph gets a little bit, and there's not a whole lot left for the rest of you guys who make the presents get made, get distributed, and let the kids enjoy them. So I appreciate you coming in and talking to us today.
I appreciate you acknowledging me, and they say behind every good man is a good woman.
All right. Well, good. Well, Eli, thank you for this. Gertrude, it's been a pleasure. I hope we'll see how this episode does. We want to encourage everyone to follow us and subscribe. It's free. And, if we can get you to the top of the podcast, maybe we'll have you back here next year.
Oh, looking forward to it. I might bring
Santa was a little off-putting, so
was
maybe he just a little. He kind of
sorry to hear
redeemed
that.
himself. We had to work on him. Maybe if you could work on him a little bit too, that'll help. And
I forgot
kind
to
of
tell you,
tame the
he
beast.
does like to get into the whiskey. Yeah.
Santa.
Yeah.
Well, it's
It could have been that.
could have been.
Could have been a bad day.
Could have been. So it's that Facebook thing after 9 o'clock, I guess. So we appreciate you being here, Gertrude.
Glad to be
Gracious as always. And
Well, come see me in the North Pole.
we'll do. I'm going to let Eli go first to see how the lady situation is up there and how the elf situation is. If he comes back with his shins all chewed up and his knees racked, we'll know that the elves have been rioting for the big boy from Florida.
I'll scout it out for you.
Scout it out for
Scout
us.
it out for me. Those little elves are going to like you.
Yes.
Okay.
You're going to have some good little friends.
Okay.
Yeah, they will. Can you get him in a little green outfit with a little green beanie?
Oh, we have large outfits.
You have large outfits?
We do.
I don't know if I'll be up for that one.
I think he's going to wear that to the office Christmas party in a couple of
is
weeks.
he?
Yes, he was
Oh,
voted.
fun.
Did you see the pictures they gave us, the staff gave us from last year? We'll see what the Jelly of the Month Club people get this year, and we'll dress Eli up as a big banana or a big cherry or a big strawberry. Or
Might be busy that day.
No, you will be there. You'll be there.
Where's the party?
1961.
1961 on the
rooftop?
roof. Yep.
Rooftop, right.
Yep. If you're still around, you're welcome to come.
Okay, thank you.
I don't want to tell you when because I don't want Santa Claus crashing because he's
Yeah.
kind of busy. But if you're still around, you're welcome to come and
Might be.
enjoy the party. So,
I could always get back for it.
okay. Thank you very much.
Thank
appreciate
you.
your time and appreciate everybody listening. And I hope you all have a great and Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Hey, everybody. I want to thank you for listening to Todd's podcast. This has been your host, Todd Dantzler. As always, don't forget to rate, review, follow, and subscribe to Todd's podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you have any questions for me or any suggestions for future guests, please call or text our number at 863-288-0944 or visit todddantzler.com. Again, that's 863-288-0944 or visit my website, todddantzler.com. I look forward to hearing your questions and feedback, and please take care.